I think many of us have loved the Worgen for many years, and they're just a cool looking race. And when we were talking about a new Alliance race and what would work well, there's any number of ideas that pop that feel very appropriate. But the Worgen, you know, we kind of like the idea that the Alliance would have somewhat more of a monstrous race. That's what we felt like was needed in their lineup. You know, whereas we'll get to the Goblins in a minute, but you know, their diminutive size seemed to fit really well with the Horde profile. And they're just so cute. But the Worgen, you know, having been formerly human, the story we created is that since the time of Warcraft 3, as the Scourge was overrunning Lordaeron, Gen Greymane within Gilneas closed off the Greymane wall so that his people would not be affected by the plague. But as Dalaran fell and the Scourge marched ever southward, the people of Gilneas got pretty edgy. You know, it was just a matter of time before the Scourge started getting them. And a Dalaran wizard by the name of... Very good. Oh, sorry guys. Yes, by the name of Aragorn, who we've kind of reasoned was a patriot of Gilneas, decided to call down a spell and summon creatures that would be able to fight the Scourge for them. And what he summoned, I think, surprised him quite a bit. And it turned out to be perhaps every bit as dangerous as the Scourge itself, as this, let's call it the Worgen, you know, quasi-lycanthropic event began to happen. So ultimately, to cut a story short, the Worgen curse made its way into Gilneas, and much of the early starting experience as Worgen players, you guys will see exactly how this curse wove its way through Gilneas society, and then we'll catch you up on the present day context of the Worgen, what they're fighting for, what they're about, you know, the beast within trying to contain this, you know, savage monster within them. They're trying to get to the bottom of where this ancient curse came from. Some of our lore from the original World of Warcraft, you know, we got the whole storyline of the Staff of Elune, which, oh man, we've drilled that out. It's pretty badass. But the whole question is, are the Worgens from somewhere else, or just for kicks, somewhen else? So a lot of really interesting stuff we've been playing with, and just the context of the Worgen and their own innate racial struggle should provide for just a lot of cool flavor and drama. And then their inclusion into the Alliance. Imagine these guys at a temperament level are kind of like Wolverine, right? They're kind of like the Wolverine of the Alliance, which is a nice tone to have as part of that that racial lineup. So,
yeah, absolutely. One of the things you'll notice too, and you'll actually be able to play the Worgen start area as well as the Goblin start area today, is
Goblin society is broken up amidst on the Isle of Kazan. They're a very technological race, and Goblin society is broken up between certain factions or cartels, right? There's a number of different trade princes who command essentially private armies and wheel and deal all over the world. So the goblins that we use neutrally in World of Warcraft, you know, on the Zeppelins and, you know, different travel routes, you know, Gadgetzan, Ratchet, places like that, they're kind of more of a neutral group, general neutral group. The goblins that you'll play as part of the Horde are a specific group from the Isle of Kazan. And oh, is there some flavor there for you guys when you get to see it? So with all of the Cataclysm striking the world, let's say that the Cataclysm hit Kazan very hard. And these goblins, through the storyline, were kind of driven out and shipwrecked upon the Lost Isles, which is a new player area we developed. It's kind of a system of islands off the coast of, kind of like south of Ajara, but north of Durotar. So it places them very well to meet and befriend the Horde. And yeah, anything you want to say about the Goblin Kick?
Yeah, I mean, again, another super unique experience with the Goblins. You'll play through various story arcs, and we'll actually be incorporating a lot of the Wrathgate-like cinematic stuff that we did in Lich King for both Worgen and Goblins.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're going way over the top on these two races to start with, but their inclusion into the Horde is something you'll uncover on the Lost Isles, and it's not they don't start out as a Horde race. Actually, they start out as a cartel, a Bilgewater cartel, actually, a neutral race on Kazan, and they're forced into it, unfortunately. But you'll find that out today too, hopefully, and you'll figure out how they were jumped into the Horde.
Right. I guess one thing I would say too is that with the Cataclysm and how heavy it is for the nations, of Azeroth, there are, in this expansion set, some dark days ahead. We thought it got bad in Northrend, right? These expeditions went up to fight the Lich King, and that fight is still in progress, obviously, and right under everybody's noses, this event happens, and it is going to test the Alliance and the Horde, but one of the things about Goblins is that the Horde may need some comic relief coming up here pretty soon, and the Goblins just fit that bill perfectly. So, good vibe. There we go.
That's their mount, by the way. Okay, upheaval. What does that mean, Chris? What does upheaval mean?
Well, Alex, relative to Webster's New International Dictionary, upheaval is upheaval, yeah. So, what, guys? We got tidal waves. Let's just take a moment. Can you guys see that picture? Let's take a moment. This is one of my favorite Warcraft pictures ever. I love it. It doesn't get any better than that. Thrall and Karen rescuing Horde babies. So badass. For all the epic weapons, that's who those guys are. Mega. So, upheaval. We talked a little bit, you guys saw some of the screenshots in the trailer of certain of these zones being broken. Tidal waves, tsunamis, terrific, unending storms, volcanic trenches erupting all over the place. There is a state of natural upheaval, but in the midst of all that, there's a lot of new stress within and between the Alliance and the Horde. The campaign against the Lich King has been a taxing one, and that's what Arthas wanted. He lured us up north, and he screwed with our heads the whole time up there. Where many of you in your player experience kind of had to make some choices that, like, wow, is this the right thing? But we were pressed to just the edge of our seats to try and get this fight won, to shatter through to the gates of Icecrown and defeat this bad guy. And in a very real way, while the Lich King will get what's coming to him, it's possible that we've left a little bit of ourselves up there in the snow. That part of us isn't coming home again, right? There's something really interesting about the post-Lich King world that you'll see. And as you, right, the soldiers of the Horde and the Alliance come home, we find the world is not what it was. So there's a lot of upheaval at any number of levels. And like I said, there are some dark days ahead, but at a fictional level, it's the dark days that make the moments of, absolute heroism that much more meaningful. And at the end of the day, that's what Warcraft's about. It's about heroism. It's about, fellowship, brotherhood, fighting the good fight. So we wanted to ramp up the drama of this expansion set. And I think you guys are going to feel that and feel the vibe of it pretty acutely.
Absolutely. If you've been playing WoW since the beginning,
Yeah.
You've probably seen some pretty dramatic changes, especially in the past year or so with Lich King. We started out with a very strong direction. We knew, Horde